he will pull it out. As hard as what? Look at the example which Prophet Muhammad ﷺ drew. If you have the outer part of a sheep, the wool of a sheep, you know, after you slaughter a sheep and you get the skin and the wool still on the skin, and you dip that skin in the water, and before you dip it in the water, you get a long branch full of thorns, and you hide it into the wool, into the wool of the sheep. And now take the whole thing and soak it in water. Take it out, try to pull the branch out of the wool. You can't do it. It would never come out with you. Never. So he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَيَنْتَزِعُهَا كَمَا يُنْتَزَعِ السَّفُودُ مَلِيء الشُّعَبِ مِنَ الصُّوفِ الْمَبْلُولِ فَتَقَطَّعَ مَعَهَا الْعُرُوقُ وَالْعَصَبُ. Angel of death is tough, is not easy. He had the order to take that spirit now. So once it returned to the body, he will grab it very hard, pull it out, as if you pull out the branch full of thorns from a wet wall. You can't take it out, but he will take it out. Prophet ﷺ said, فَتَقَطَّعَ مَعَ الْعُرُوقُ وَالْعَصَبِ. He will tear apart all the nerves and the veins. And what I just said now to you is the easiest thing when the wicked or the kafir will face. This is the easiest. While the spirit of a believer, when it comes out, this is the worst. Anything after that for the believer is easier and easier and easier. But everything after pulling out that hard, his spirit out, this is the easiest. Whatever comes after is worse and worse and worse, till he rests in the hellfire. قال فتقطع معها العروق والعصب فإذا أخذها. Once the angel of death will take it, other angels with black faces, they will take it immediately from his hand and wrap it up in what? In the flame sheets. You know when they prepare the street, when they drop this black oil, it's flamed one, but that's black oil from the hellfire. The heat of it is 70 times the heat of the maximum heat you can imagine on earth. 70 times. They will wrap him up and rise to Almighty Allah. While rising to Almighty Allah, every angel will smell the smell of his spirit. He will say, what is this smell? That's very ugly smell. Who's that? They will say that the spirit of that man, his name was such and such, with the worst name he used to hate. So if in the school, kids sometimes call one another some names. And some kids, they don't like that name. Maybe they cry when any one of them, they call him that name. He will be called with the name he hates most, as a matter of punishment. Now we're talking about the spirit. We don't talk about the bodies yet. They will rise up, try to get an excuse, get a permission to enter the first heaven. The angels will say, the guards of the first level of the heaven, they will say, who's that? They will say that man by the name of him and the name of his father. They will say, no, 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 no. They will never enter the heaven. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَيَصْعَدُونَ بِهَا فَلَا يَمُرُّونَ عَلَى مَلَئٍ مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ إِلَّا قَالُوا مَا هَذَا الرِّيحُ الْخَبِيثُ فيقولون فلان ابن فلان بأقبح أسمائه التي كان ينادى بها في الدنيا فيستفتحون له فلا يفتح له فقرأ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فلا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط. Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم read part of the Quran. After he said they would never allow him to enter the first level of the heaven, he recited, it would never allow them to be unless in the paradise, unless a huge camel entered from past cross a hole of a needle. Do you think you can let a camel go through a hole of a needle? You think so? It is very tough to put the thread in it. Very tough. So what if a camel? Allah said yes, they will enter the paradise if the camel pass through a hole of a needle. They may enter the paradise. And they will hear a command from Almighty Allah. أعيدوه إلى الأرض. Return him to the earth. فإني وعدتهم, I promised them, أني منها خلقتهم, I will create them from the dust, وفيها أعيدهم وفيها أعيدهم تارة أخرى, and they should return to it again. So the angels, which they have the spirit and the flame shields, they would never return gently to the body, they will throw it from above. Below the level of the first heaven, they will throw it. فَيَقْذِفُونَهَا حَتَّى تَسْتَقِرُّ فِي بَدَنِهِ. Now, both spirits return to both bodies. During that trip, the body of a believer, many good brothers or sisters will look after the body and take good care of the body. Give him a nice bath, nice ghusl, and prepare him well in white sheets, perfume him, perfume the places of prostration, the head and nose, 2 palms, and 2 knees, and the toes. Same 7 spots which he used to prostrate with to Almighty Allah. And now, they are taking him to the grave. He is in his grave. They put him in the grave and they put the dust on him. Once they put the dust on him, Prophet ﷺ said to the companion, ask Allah mercy for your brother, because now he will be questioned. Both entered their graves, maybe both in the same grave, because both die in the same accident. A righteous man in an accident with a wicked guy or a kafir. They had a crash together, so they both died. Try to imagine they both, because they were both Muslims, but one was wicked, one was righteous. So they both in the same grave, for example. And if you don't believe what I will say, what I may say later on, try to imagine when you are sleeping next to your brother, or next to your wife, or next to your husband, and your wife screams during her dream, while you had a beautiful dream. You were hugging one another. She saw an awful dream, a scary dream, and you saw a beautiful dream, or vice versa. You saw an awful dream while she saw a beautiful dream. That's happened plenty of time. So once they close his grave,